Hey guys, so I am back with part 2 of my smoky eye tutorial using Too Faced Chocolate Bar Palette. I am actually going to play around and explore a little bit with creating kind of like an aubergine plum smoky eye effect. Definitely don't feel overwhelmed about having to use every single color to create a beautiful smoky effect or your preferred eye look. I do right now have foundation on, and I do have my brows filled in as well. That is it. I don't have anything else on. The reason why I don't have concealer on is because when I do create the smoky eye, there may be some drop down or fall down of shadow, and I just don't want to have to go through the process twice of then cleaning everything up. So what I'm going to do is after I apply and create the smoky eye look, then I will go back in, add concealer, and then I will finish the look with some pretty cheek color, a little bit of bronzer, and lips. So here we go, let's get started. Okay, so the first product that I'm going to start off with is actually from Rouge, and this is their cream eyeshadow. The shade is called Brocade Skipper, and it's actually really nice. It's just a perfect kind of nude, neutral, and it'll be the greatest shade to apply as a base because it really won't alter the powder eyeshadows that I apply right over it. So you can actually do the same thing with any kind of concealer or like lightweight concealer. The reason why I'm using this cream shadow is because the texture is just super silky and lightweight. It's not going to create a thick layer. It'll just be nice and thin, and then it'll right away even my lid tone. So the deepest shade in this palette on the plum side is called Cherry Cordial. It's a shade right here, kind of like a pretty aubergine, smoky, chocolatey plum, if you will. I am going to then take my Rouge large shader brush. It's a nice shape and it's slightly domed on top, allowing the powder to actually travel across the lid nice and easily. And then I'm just tapping a little bit off so you definitely see the pigment there. And now I'm just going to take this shade and press it along the center part of my lid. Now I'm beginning to kind of go back and forth in a windshield wiper motion. So first we really want to pat in that color to lock it on the lid, and then I'm just going back in and actually moving my brush back and forth slightly above my crease and then a little bit out. So notice I'm not going to really create like a wing shaped effect with the shadow. I'm actually going to keep it just a little bit more rounded. That's why I'm not moving out this way. Okay, so now that I've applied the deepest, smokiest shadow to both eyes, I'm now going to take a transition color. And the transition color that I'm going to actually use is called Strawberry Bonbon. It's this light pale pink shade. Now this shade will actually go right above my crease, right where there is just the eyeshadow base on and then the deepest color. And I'm coating my brush and then just tapping any excess off. And then I'm going to go just above my crease, and I'm going and using a windshield wiper motion. And what this will do is this will kind of tie in and fuse the two shades together. It really comes down to blending and buffing. So it's as if you're kind of applying the makeup but then removing it again. So it's kind of like that relayering process by buffing, removing, relayering. So that's really the key, is just taking your time and blending out any kind of harsh edges. Okay, so notice that this side has a kind of graduated effect. So you're gonna see some smokiness here and then it's going to become a little bit lighter, versus this side you still kind of see a harsh edge. This transition shade helps to blend everything together. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the deepest shade, or one of the deeper shades in the palette next to Cherry Cordial. It's called Black Forest Truffle, and it is this shade right here. So you're going to notice that this shade is matte. This shade has a little bit more shimmer to it. I'm going to now apply this shade right into the outer corner crease of my eye. That's actually going to create a little bit more dimension and also, of course, a little bit more depth as we go smoky. I'm actually using my Sigma Medium Sweeper E54 brush, gently patting that in, and going just maybe to the outer corner, not even going halfway in to my crease, keeping it on the outer edge in a patting motion. Okay, so there we have this eye. Once again, there's more dimension now, and it is equal to this eye. Okay, so we are building up that graduated layered effect. Now I'm actually going back in with my Giorgio Armani blending eyeshadow brush, and there is nothing on this brush. I am just now going back in and buffing out that deeper color into that mid-tone, or excuse me, that other deeper shade, Cherry Cordial, that is a matte. Okay, so there is a seamless effect. Everything is tied in and blended together. Now I will go ahead and begin smoking out the lower lashes. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going back into my Sigma Medium Sweeper E54 brush, and I am taking Cherry Cordial, the matte shade that I initially used to place color all over the lid. And then I actually have a paper towel on my desk right now, and I'm just tapping out any excess. So notice, using a very light hand, I am just dusting Cherry Cordial underneath my lash line. So it should just be a very light dusting. And it's okay to go like a little bit lower than your actual lashes. That'll create a really nice dimension, and it'll kind of even out the smokiness. Okay, so now both sides are even, they are smoky. Notice there is a little bit of fall down of shadow below. I'm not worried about that right now because I will be going back in and adding concealer to clean that up. So let's move on to liner. So I'm actually going to take Rouge Bunny Rouge. This is their Kohl pencil. The shade is Salome. It's a nice, rich, classic black. And I will be taking the liner and lining along the upper inner rim of my eye, so the waterline, and also the lower half of my waterline. And this is the thing, you can even do this without even creating a smoky eye effect. You're gonna notice a difference. There's a line right underneath my waterline. That's the waterline, by the way. It's just underneath the lashes. This already creates a little bit more dimension and like definition, I should say. And it also helps to make your lashes look longer. So if you don't even want to do a smoky eye and you want to create a lined effect without the drama, you can actually just line along the waterline and it'll result in longer looking lashes and a very subtle looking definition. Okay, so I will go ahead and repeat on the next eye. Now to remove any kind of harshness, I'm actually going to take my Sigma E32 blending brush, and I'm just going to buff in my liner into the shadow along the edges. So I'm just going to hold my eye taut. This is so I could get in really close and just kind of smudge that liner down into my shadow. And this kind of creates a little bit more of a diffusion. Just blend that out a little bit more. Okay, perfect. So now the next step would be to actually apply the highlighting shade. It's called Champagne Truffle, and it's this really pretty highlighting shade. It's kind of like a champagne shade, but with a little bit of pink in it. I'm actually taking a brush by Rouge Bunny Rouge, and this actually is their concealer brush. It's flat, and it is a natural fiber brush, but I kind of like to use it because I can easily just pat in a color and just kind of press, and then at the same time blend it out to diffuse it. So it just makes the process very easy. I don't want it to look too frosty or too shimmery along the inner corner, so I'm just using my finger and tapping out. Okay, next step is curling the eyes. So I'm going to use my Kevyn Aucoin trusty eyelash curler. I really love this eyelash curler. It doesn't pull at your lashes, and it just allows you to get a nice crisp, clean curl. Now I'm going to apply mascara. So the mascara that I'm using is one of my go-to favorites as of late. It's the Rouge Bunny Rouge Modeling Mascara, and it's really neat because it has a silicone wand, which silicone wands have been around now for a while. But this one has bristles that are super tied in and close together. So they're really great at defining and lifting and separating each lash. When I apply mascara, I really concentrate the majority of the actual mascara application at the root and the base of the lashes. Also too, this is where you want the thickest application, is right at the base. And then you simply just wiggle the wand in a little teeny tiny zigzag motion up the lash line. Take the time to kind of separate and comb out your lashes as well. It really does make all the difference. Okay, so now that we've applied mascara, the next step is moving on to concealer and cleaning off any kind of excess shadow residue that may have fallen. So this is Honest Beauty's Duo Concealer in Balanced Beige. I can't wait to do a tutorial with this line. I'm actually waiting on a few more products, but I am super impressed. It's actually a natural brand, and the pigment payoff and the color and the texture and the blendability is amazing for all the products that I've tried so far. So stay tuned for that. Using my Hourglass No. 2 brush, this is a synthetic brush, and I'm just getting it coated with the lighter shade. I'm actually not going to use the deeper shade. You can even mix and match these two shades together if you'd like to customize your shade. I am just gonna go ahead and use this lightest shade. So for now, I'm actually just taking a dab, one kind of light layer, and pressing my concealer along the under eye area, focusing along the inner corner. I'm not actually taking my concealer and dragging it back and forth because that's just gonna cause too much movement, and then you just end up kind of moving and shifting the concealer and you're not really locking it into place. And then of course buffing out any excess powder or any kind of discoloration underneath my eyes. Okay, so before, after, this is nicely corrected and really nice and bright underneath. Because I've gone smoky and I do have some smokiness underneath here, there's really no reason for me to go up close near my lash line, or else I'm just gonna sweep this whole effect off. So I'm just keeping it just right at the edge of where the smokiness begins to dissipate. Okay, now I'm going back in with the same side of the concealer, and I'm just kind of correcting any additional areas where I feel like I need just a little bit more coverage. I'm actually using Tarte's Smooth Operator translucent powder. This is really nice because it minimizes pores. It leaves a nice silky finish on the skin, but it doesn't feel like it's bogging down the complexion, and it's not a heavy powder. So with that translucent sheer powder, I'm actually applying it onto my Rouge Bunny Rouge Powder 001 brush. And I'm just going to pat in a very light motion and lock in all of my coverage. So my foundation and my concealer. I have an oily T-zone, so this is actually where I do like to focus, if I am using a powder, just a little bit more application or coverage to minimize any kind of excess shine around my nose, chin, and forehead. Okay, so now to finish the look, I'm going to apply cheek color, and I also really love this palette. This is the Tarte Bling It palette. It's a holiday limited edition item. I got this one at Sephora. So I'm going in with a really pretty berry shade. It's called Fetching. It's the last deepest shade in the palette. Pretty plum berry, just to kind of tie in and fuse the kind of berry aubergine smoky effect. So when you apply blush, you don't want to go too far in with your blush. You want to keep it on the outer edge. And when you have that smile up, it's just like a natural, great guideline for application. So here we go, smiling. Okay, so notice I am gently and lightly applying, as I'm talking and smiling, to the outer edge of the apple of the cheek. So now, optionally, to further tie this look in, I can apply bronzer. Bronzer isn't always necessary for every makeup application. It just depends on the effect you like or you prefer. If you do want to add a little bit of contouring, I am using actually the Too Faced, this is Chocolate Soleil Medium Deep Matte Bronzer. And I'm actually just going to contour and sculpt my under cheek area with this shade using my Sigma Beauty Tapered Face Brush. So with my tapered brush, I'm just going underneath my cheek color in a very light buffing motion. I'm creating a little bit of contour and dimension underneath my cheeks. So notice that this side of my face looks a little bit more narrow than this side. This is the sculpting effect, so I'm contouring just underneath and chiseling, if you will, very lightly. So the intent is not to go contour crazy. It's about creating a little bit of dimension and sculpting the complexion, but in a very realistic, natural looking way. So for the lips, I'm actually going to take 3 products and mix and blend them together. The first product is from Amour Beauty, and this is their lip gloss. It's called Gypsy. The shade is a really pretty kind of light golden pearlescent pink. And I'm actually going to combine it with Belmacz Glow lip gloss, and it comes in a pot like this, and this is actually a really pretty kind of purpley magenta shade. Now, last but not least, I'm going to take Rouge Bunny Rouge lip liner in Roald, and this is a perfect kind of nude mauve-y or mauvey rose, and I'm going to just start with this actually and apply it to my lips edge, blending into my lip line. This is just such a pretty shade of lip liner. I really love this one. It's become my staple. I think it looks good with most lip colors, and it just enhances your own lip color. So now I'm going to take Belmacz Beauty Lip Gloss Pot in Magenta, and using my fingertips, I'm dabbing it to the center part of my lip, and then to the top part. Okay, so I do have color here, but I don't want to overly intensify the lip tone. I just kind of want to create a really pretty plummy effect on the lips. And when you use your fingertips, you kind of nicely dab out any excess color, and it just allows you to even press in and lock in the lip color shade into your lips. I'm going to finish with the Amour Beauty Gypsy Gloss, and I'm going to just tap a little bit on the top of my hand to show you the color. And then once again, using my fingertips, I'm actually going to go back in and dab this color right over my Belmacz Magenta lip gloss. Okay, this creates a little bit more of a layered effect, and also it allows the lips to look more plump while adding some dimension. I hope you enjoyed the Too Faced Part 2 tutorial. Please give it a thumbs up, and if you do love my channel, please also subscribe. I really appreciate your support. Have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching. Bye guys, see you later.